Trinidad and Tobago has a well-known chronic disease problem. Now, one may think that we as a nation just eat too damn much. However, could it be that we are not getting enough of a certain something? And what is that something, you might ask? That answer will be revealed after this. Hi, I'm Howard of Trinigirevik, where it is believed that health and strength is a choice and not up to chance. Therefore, this channel gives tips and strategies and addresses health and fitness topics so that you can make the right choice. At the end of my last video, I promised that I would look into the nutrition facts of commonly consumed breakfast foods in Trinidad and Tobago to determine whether they contribute to good health or to poor health. Upon further reflection, I decided to do this video before doing that video so that you can better understand the criteria for determining which foods contribute to good health and which foods contribute to poor health. In my last video, I mentioned that Trinidad and Tobago has the highest rate of premature mortality due to NCDs in the Caribbean region and has the highest rates of overall mortality and morbidity due to NCDs in the same Caribbean region. I further highlighted observations from the 2012 STEPS report, which showed that our poor diet and increasingly sedentary lifestyles have played a significant role in the increasing NCD burden of the population. One observation which I want to highlight further in this video is that as a country, Trinidad and Tobago is consuming fewer fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, and whole grain cereals, and in turn consuming more processed foods, milk, refined cereals, meats, and sugar. Now that is interesting and very, very important to note. Why is that, you might ask? Fruits, vegetables, legumes, and whole grains has a significant amount of a certain nutrient that processed foods, milk, meat, and sugar do not have. Care to wager a guess? I'll give you a hint. It starts with the letter F. Give up? That word is fiber. So, as I was saying, fiber, also known as roughage or bulk, it's usually portrayed as a dietary component that needs to be supplemented if you are either constipated or if you belong in the 55 and over age bracket. Some of the ads which are portrayed to the over 55 age group can be absolutely ridiculous. Here is one of those ads.
It's the final elimination, and with us we have our bachelor, Nugget from Colin Town. You must choose between Metamucil and constipation. Nugget, who is the one that's going to give you the push you need?
Metamucil.
Seriously?
Flashback. Before meeting her, I preferred to stay in. I just couldn't seem to get out of this hole that I was stuck in. But now, I feel lighter, more energetic, better than I have in years.
Do you guys remember your first date?
Oh, yes. From the moment we met, things moved really fast.
That's when we decided to make it a regular thing.
Do you want to have a good time tonight?
I just gelled with him.
Now, some doctors have advised increased fiber consumption to reduce the risk of diverticulitis and colon cancer, as well as was noted in quite a few studies. According to healthday.com, as seen in this picture here, colon cancer is the second most deadly form of cancer after lung cancer in the US. According to the 2013 PAHO report, it is a growing burden in the Caribbean, and it's the third most common type of cancer in both men and women in Trinidad and Tobago. A couple of famous individuals who succumbed to colon cancer include West Indian cricket legend Malcolm Marshall at the age of 41, and more recently, Chadwick Boseman, American actor, at the age of 43, known for his role as the Black Panther in the self-titled and Avengers movies. If fiber consumption can possibly buck the trend with colon cancer, maybe it will be to the benefit of everyone to take a closer look at this nutrient. So one might ask, why is fiber consumption important? Now, when one usually thinks of food, one may think of food providing nourishment for the body, specifically in terms of macro and micronutrients. The macronutrients mainly being protein, carbohydrates, and fats. However, what is equally important and what doesn't get a lot of attention is the nutrient which isn't absorbed. Fiber, by its nature, doesn't get absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract. One may be led to believe that since fiber does not contribute in providing energy and nutrients to the human body, what is its purpose anyway? Dr. Robert Lustig, a doctor who has highlighted the ill effects of sugar, said this on the Ivor Comments podcast.
Well, we have more data. So if I rewrote it today, there'd be so much more that I could add, in terms of fuel to the fire. There's nothing in the book that's wrong. So there's nothing I would retract. I would add certain things. And I've also recognized that the role of fiber, and there's a whole chapter on fiber, so it's not like I discounted it. But I've come to realize just how important the fiber story really is. Ultimately, I can sum up healthy eating in 2 clauses. Protect the liver, feed the gut. Protect the liver, feed the gut. If you protect the liver so that it's not getting the tsunami of monoundisaccharides that come from ultra-processed food, digestion, and absorption early on in the duodenum, then you protect the liver. If you can move that food through the intestine so that it doesn't get absorbed in the duodenum and gets further down to the jejunum so that the intestinal microbiome can chew it up, that means even though you ate it, you didn't get it. Since this is a macronutrient excess problem, this chronic metabolic disease problem, if you can get your bacteria to chew it up instead of you, then it doesn't really matter what passed here, it matters what passed here. Right? It doesn't matter what you ate, it matters what you absorbed. So if you feed the gut, you solve the problem. Protect the liver, feed the gut. Real food does that. Processed food doesn't.
And that, in a nutshell, is the primary purpose of consuming fiber. Protect the liver, feed the gut. Both of these actions have benefits to the individual consuming the fiber. In Dr. Lustig's book, Fat Chance, Beating the Odds Against Sugar, Processed Food, Obesity, and Disease, He mentioned some vital information about how fiber works to protect the individual's liver. He mentions that there are two types of fiber. There is soluble fiber, which is essentially glucose molecules that absorb water to form a viscous, gelatinous substance. This substance slows the digestion and absorption of food. Now, an unpleasant side effect of soluble fiber is that it is fermented by the bacteria in the colon into gases. Insoluble fiber. These are non-glucose molecules that don't absorb water. They speed up the passage of food throughout the gut. Now, these two types of fiber work together in the gut in a tandem. The insoluble fiber forms a lattice to provide a base for the soluble fiber to rest on and fill the spaces between the lattice work. This helps to reduce the amount and rate of energy providing nutrients, example glucose, fructose, and fats, that the intestines absorb, and in turn they reduce the amount of these substances that the liver have to process, thereby reducing the burden on the liver. He goes further to say that this fiber action helps to keep insulin levels down. Cholesterol levels decrease with increasing fiber intake due to the excess bile acids being removed from the body by the fiber. So the benefit of the fiber in protecting the liver can be summed up in the words of another doctor. It's not the calories you eat, but the calories you absorb. This doctor, in two of his books, goes into great detail as to how fiber is beneficial for health purposes. Dr. Michael Greger, in his book, How Not to Die, mentions that high fiber intake appears to reduce the risk of cancers of the colon and breast, diabetes, heart disease, obesity, and premature death in general. A number of studies now show that high fiber intake may also help ward off stroke. In another part of the book, he mentions that in addition to keeping you regular, fiber binds toxins such as lead and mercury and flushes them away, all pun intended. Our bodies were designed to expect an ever-flowing fiber stream, so it dumps such unwanted waste products as excess cholesterol and estrogen into the intestines, assuming that they will be swept away. But if you aren't constantly filling your bowels with plant foods, which is the only natural source of fiber, the unwanted waste products can get reabsorbed and undermine the body's attempts at detoxifying itself. In his more recent book, How Not to Diet, he mentions this. Fiber doesn't just trap sugars. It can act as a fat and a starch blocker too. So fiber can block sugar, fat, starches, excess hormones, and toxins. It will seem that fiber is a hidden treasure. So what's not to love about fiber? Please excuse me while I open the windows. Right, sorry about that. a little accident. Fiber is fermented by bacteria in the colon. As you just saw there, an unpleasant side effect of this fermentation is the formation of nitrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, and a little hydrogen sulfide. In other words, gas, or as some people might say, socially unacceptable emissions, or simply put, farts. This is usually the main reason why people have steered clear of adequate fiber consumption. However, this feeding of the gut bacteria in the fiber consumed has surprising effects. The gut bacteria has been termed in some circles as the forgotten organ. It weighs more than a single kidney, and it's more metabolically active than the liver. The gut bacteria converts the fiber into something called short-chain fatty acids, with gas being the unfortunate side effect. These short-chain fatty acids are absorbed through the colon and they circulate throughout the body, where they contribute positively to various systems in the body. These benefits include improved immune function, reduced inflammation, improved mental health, appetite suppression, improved metabolism, and reduction in body fat. Now, why did I refer to these two doctors for this video? Just to give you a little background on Dr. Robert Lustig. He is a medical doctor who is internationally renowned for his YouTube lecture, Sugar, the Bitter Truth, which has been viewed over 11 million times. He is a doctor who advocates for the restriction, reduction, or avoidance of fructose and carbohydrates in general, along with processed foods. Dr. Michael Greger, on the other hand, is a physician renowned for his website, nutritionfacts.org, where he churns out health-related content based on medical and scientific research. He mainly advocates for a whole foods, plant-based diet, and based on his content is of the view that the consumption of processed foods and animal products is the main reason why the world is facing a chronic health crisis. Now, the fact that these two doctors with vastly different dietary ideologies can agree on the importance of fiber for the health and well-being of people in general, that says a lot. They even agree as to the amount of fiber that our ancestors ate. Dr. Lustig said in his book that they estimate that these cave dwellers consume about 100 grams of fiber a day. Dr. Greger, in one of his books, mentioned that humans evolved eating huge amounts of fiber, likely in excess of 100 grams daily. Just to put that in perspective, in the US, the daily consumption of fiber is about 10 to 12 grams daily. Now, one might ask how much fiber an average citizen of Trinidad and Tobago consumes. That information up to the time of recording could not be found in the public domain easily. However, in the next video, I will analyze the nutrition facts of 3 typical dishes that an average Trinidad and Tobago citizen may eat in a day. Special attention will be given to fiber to give a ballpark figure of the individual fiber consumption in Trinidad and Tobago. Question of the day: do you consider fiber to be an important part of your diet? And if so, do you consume enough or do you need to consume more? Put your answers and any additional comments below. If you got value out of this video, don't forget to like and share. Links for the 3 books referenced in this video will be in the caption box below. Till next time, be safe and be well. And remember, health and strength are more about choices and less about chances.